Hey everyone, Mitch coming in from the Commander's Corner studio. Welcome to the show. So on today's episode, I've got an Omega level commander for you. That's right, an Omega level commander. Now, what exactly is that? It is a commander that is incredibly powerful, a massive threat, and a term that I made up a little while ago, but still, this commander definitely meets the requirements of being an Omega level commander, and that commander is Emrakul, the World Anew. Oh my goodness. Yeah, okay. One thing to mention really quick, okay? Emrakul has not come out yet. It's coming out in Modern Horizons 3, apparently, and this is going to be a giant card in the set. And it technically doesn't have a price right now, because it's not being sold right now, or apparently not even pre-sold right now, so keep that in mind. That being said, the rest of the deck is incredibly budget-friendly at $24.79. We'll just have to see where Emrakul ends up, though. Anyways, Emrakul, the World Anew is a 12/12 Eldrazi for 12 mana. When you cast a spell, gain control of all creatures target player controls. Flying protects from spells from permanents that were cast this turn. When Emrakul, the World Anew, leaves the battlefield, sacrifice all creatures you control. Madness, pay 6, colorless. So, yeah, you can probably see with all the things that are going on this why I couldn't wait to actually build around this. I'm just like, can I wait all the way until it's like June when this comes out, or whenever it is? I couldn't wait that long. So yeah, here we are. Emrakul, the World Anew, an incredible colorless commander, one that does a lot of things, including well, being a 2-shot KO that is really hard to deal with and evasive, and also one that yeah, just happens to steal an opponent's creatures, all of their creatures, and yeah, that's pretty brutal. And also, it has Madness, which is quite fun because, well, it doesn't really help you for the command zone, but there are ways that we can use and abuse this to ensure that, well, we steal multiple times of creatures. You know, it's like, oh, we want your creatures now. We want your creatures now. Now we have to get rid of the creatures we already had to do so, but that is okay. Regardless, a lot of exciting things that we can do with this, even on a budget. If you are interested in this deck, make sure you check out that deck list link in the description below. Again, $24.79 according to Moxfield. That doesn't include the cost of shipping or basic lands, but you might already have those. Regardless of that said, let's jump into the tactics. So, first things first. First up, there's Wayfarer's Bauble, of course. And tactic number one for the money because, well, we need a lot of ramp. Again, our commander cost 12 to get out the first time, and believe me, we want to get it out quickly and do it again, and again, and again. So, let's ramp quickly. Wayfarer's Bauble, pay 2 tap, sacrifice, go get that waste. Put it into play. Waste, whatever it is. Cold Steel Heart enters the battlefield. Tap. It can tap for any color. It does not matter. It can't tap for any colorless, but yeah, we just say red. Who cares? It doesn't matter what it is. It is a turn 2 mana Rock Force, which is fantastic. Very efficient, very effective. Ebony Fly enters the battlefield. Tap. Can tap for any colorless. Can also turn to a fly. That can make something else fly. Cool. Felwar Stone can tap for our lands and opponent's controls. It's fine. Doesn't really matter all that much. Again, the mana does not matter. I will say that one last time, hopefully not say it again. What we care about, again, is efficiency, and these are very efficient. Fractured Power Stone, taps for colors. Perfect. We got Guardian Idol. This one enters battlefield, taps for colors as well. Liquid Metal Torque, taps for colors without entering the battlefield. Tap can also turn things into artifacts, which is great. Mind Stone, we can actually sacrifice for a card, which is lovely. Prismatic Lens, we can filter our mana. We're never going to do that. Thought Vessel, this one gives us no maximum hand size, which is lovely. All steps for colors. Unstable Obelisk, not the most efficient, but it is very effective when it comes to, well, destroying things. Pay 7, tap, destroy, target, permanent. But now let's move on to tactic number 2 for the show. First up, we've got, well, a mana rock that can tap for 2 or 3 or much more than that. Astrocornucopia is going to give us back 1/3 of the amount of mana that we put into it. And again, we can put a lot of mana into this. Even more efficient, though, we've got Everflowing Chalice. This one actually taps for colorless, which is great. 2 taps for 1, 4 taps for 2, etc., etc. Coalition Relic, we can basically charge mana on this. Just save it up. Basically, tap to put a charge counter on it. We get to remove that counter next turn, and we can tap for mana as well. Skyclave Relic, not very efficient at the beginning. If we just, pay 3, it comes into play, and then we have an indestructible artifact that taps for 1 mana of any color. But if we kick it, we get 2 extra copies of it, so it basically is 6 mana, tapping for 3. Worn Power Stone, costs 3, enters battlefield, taps for 2. Firemind Vessel, also enters battlefield, taps for 2 different colors. Hedron Archive, comes into play on tap. Lovely. Taps for 2 colors. Pay 2 taps, sacrifice it to draw 2 cards. Sisay's Ring. that exact same thing, but without the actual, activation. Same thing with Urgolem's Eye, the exact same thing, just an efficient mana rock. And then Stone Secret Crystal, very similar, but pay 2 tap, sacrifice it, get rid of any player's graveyards, and draw a card as well. Finally, Dreamstone Hedron. Again, yeah, I told you, we have a lot of ramp for this deck. Our commander costs 12. Taps for 3, pay 3 tap, draw 3 cards after you sacrifice it. Next up, though, so we want to do tactic number 3, Value Town. And there's a lot of ways we can get value with this kind of a commander, this kind of a deck. First up, Horizon Stone. If you would lose unspent mana, that mana becomes colorless instead. This actually might improve some of our mana, to be honest, because again, colorless is what we really care about with this kind of a deck. We're in a colorless deck, and essentially, this is a mana bank for us. We'll say, you know what, we've got 8 mana this turn. I don't have anything to do with that because I've got a 12 mana commander. Let's just bank that mana and then use it next turn, or whenever I want, essentially. So yeah, being able to save your mana, that can be absolutely massive for a deck like this, especially again, when you can like get your commander out and you're like, oh, okay, cool, I've got my commander out. I've got all these mana rocks. What do I do with them? Bank even more mana for the next time I need to get my commander out again. Absolutely a fantastic play. Speaking of fantastic plays, though, Crashing Drawbridge. This is game-ending, game-breaking with this commander. Tap creature you control, gain haste until end of turn. That is huge. That is monstrous. That is amazing because, again, our commander, when we cast it, we gain control of that player's creatures, all of their creatures, and we say, sorry, I just took your creature. Oh, you don't have any blockers anymore? I'm so sorry. Tap, haste, swing at you, take you out with your own creatures. Or take the other unlucky players out with those creatures. Or just take a player out with Emrakul. I mean, you can, again, 2-shot KO someone with Emrakul, or even 1-shot once you're set properly. So yeah, a surprise KO from Emrakul can be quite spicy. Moving on, though, to attack number 4, Let's Bounce. First up, we've got a very old, very weird card, Obelisk of Undoing. Cost 1, but you have to pay 6 to tap and return target permanent you control and own back to your hand. That is easy. That is expensive. But again, with this kind of a deck, you're like, yeah, whatever. I've got all the mana in the world. Emrakul's out there, but all those little creatures that I stole, they got dealt with. And that player over there has got better creatures. So hey, let's just bounce Emrakul back to my hand, and we'll talk about a way to maybe cast it for cheaper than 12, and we definitely will. And then also we play Emrakul again, and we steal that player's creatures, and then they're mad at us, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Decoction Module, whenever creatures about under control, you get energy. Who cares? What we care about is pay 4 tap, bounce a creature control back to its owner's hand. So again, bring your commander back to your hand. This is a huge way to use and abuse its trigger. Next up, Dragon Mask. Pay 3 tap. Target control gets +2 until end of turn with a massive downside, or at least it used to be back in the day. End of turn, if the creature's in play, return to its owner's hand. So basically, pump your creature. Cool, Emrakul's a 14/14 now. Awesome, yay, smack you in the face. And that could be relevant. It definitely could be. But more importantly, again, bounce it back to our hand. Cool. Moving on, Getaway card. Do it in a different way. 4/3 haste, attacks or blocks turn to 1 creature that crewed it this turn to its owner's hand. So yeah, if we can crew with our commander, just shoving this giant, absurdly large cosmic entity into this card, because magic makes complete sense. And then we swing with the car, and then the giant cosmic entity gets flown out of the car and back to our hand. Magic makes sense. Moving on, Ancestral Statue, ETBs, return an element permanent back to its owner's hand. That's going to be Emrakul. We're like, bring Emrakul back. Thank you. Blood Clock, a great card for this kind of a deck. We give each player's upkeep. The player returns a permanent they control back to their hand unless they pay 2 life. For us, that's going to be an easy decision. We're like, no 2 life? We'll bounce Emrakul back to our hand. Thank you. All those little creatures I stole, they're gone. I get to do it now on you. You give me your creatures. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Your opponents won't want to bounce things back to your hand quite often, as much as I'm sure, because they're going to be getting things stolen, and they're not going to have many things. So they're probably not going to do with that. Or with Umbilicus, which does the exact same thing. So yeah, having more than one of these cards in the deck can be absolutely amazing. Guardians of Cults, another great card. ETB, return another historic permanent and be controlled back to its owner's hand if you want to. So yeah, again, bring back your Emrakul. Do some disgusting things. Next up, though, in attack number 5, let's talk about the Golden Pig of this deck, the number 1 card over 99, which is Key to the City. This card is a key to this deck. See, look what I did right there. Yeah, very clever, right? Artifact for 2, tap, discard a card to 1 target creature can be blocked this turn. Whenever it becomes untapped, you may pay 2. If you do, draw a card. Hey, what's better than flying when it comes to evasion? Unblockability with a cosmic entity. So being able to go through on an opponent with your 12/12 unblockable that is really hard to target with anything yeah, go have fun taking out that opponent, essentially, or at least, halfway, maybe the full way if they already have 12 on them, too. Oh, and by the way, sure, you know what? Let's discard a card when we're doing so, which means it actually works on the other end of things, too, because what did we just talk about? We just talked about bouncing Emrakul back to our hand so we can set ourselves up, and by setting ourselves up with this kind of a card, we get a discount of 6 mana on our commander because of that madness. So make sure that you take advantage of that, and instead of paying 12 or 14 from your command zone or whatever, just keep paying 6 every single time to steal an unlucky player's entire army. Absolutely brutal, absolutely effective. And the best part about this too is on top of all of that, hey, you also can just like replace the card that you discarded. You can replace that Emrakul that you discarded with another card by paying that 2 that comes untapped. So yeah, this card is amazing in this deck. But now to on to tactic number 6. This is madness. No, this is Sparta. And then you kick someone into a pit because of 300, right? Anyways, the Underworld Cookbook, an artifact for 1, tap, discard a card, create a food token. So again, hey, Emrakul, you become food. But you also just get madness, and then you go into play. Magic makes sense. Pay 4, tap, sacrifice it. Return our creature card and grave to your hand. It can also be useful for many things. Collector's Vault, even more useful. Pay 2, tap, discard, draw a card, discard a card, create a treasure token. So a great looting effect for you. That also, you can just discard Emrakul when it's in your hand, which is lovely for that madness. Also give that treasure token to give you some extra mana value. Jalem's Home, pay 2, tap, loot. Lovely. Again, ways to set yourself up, even if they cost some mana to do so, are going to save you mana in the long run with Emrakul, because again, you could cast Emrakul for 12, if you pay 2, tap this, and then madness Emrakul out, that's only 8 mana in total, saves you 4. Moving on. I'm not even going to try that name. The Great Door. Tap, draw a card, discard a card. So again, a free looting effect that is huge. You can also pay 4 and tap to transform it. Only if there are 4 more permanent types among cards in your graveyard. Sure, let's go through the back just in case. The Core. Taps for X mana of any one color, X the number of permanent cards in your graveyard. Yeah, you can definitely get there. Again, you got a lot of looting effects, so keep that in mind. That being said, yeah, you might not get there, and that doesn't matter because the front side's what matters. Keep that in mind. Next up, Medicine Bag. Pay 1, tap, choose this card, a card, regenerate target creature. That can be a great way to protect your commander, a great way to protect any other things, and also, again, make sure that your commander can get back in play. As long as there is 1 creature on the battlefield, it doesn't matter if it's your own. You'd be like, regenerate that creature, because I want to cheat on Emrakul's cost. Cool, good for me. Next up, Conqueror's Galleon. It's another crew thing, so again, you can just have Emrakul pilot a pirate ship for some reason if you really want to. Anyways, whenever it attacks, exile at the end of combat, return to battlefield, transform to your control, so as long as it survives, and it has 10 toughness, so typically it will, flips over to Conqueror's Foothold, a great land, tap for a colorless, pay 2, tap, loot, pay 4, tap, draw a card, pay 6, tap, bring a card back from graveyard to your hand. A lot of amazing things to be done with this. Keep in mind, looting is one of them. Grimoire of the Dead. Pay 1, tap, discard a card, put a study counter on it. Pay 3, tap, just tap it. Remove 3 study counters from it, sacrifice it. All creature cards from all graveyards go into play under your control. They're also zombies. Yeah, Rise of the Dark Realms, essentially. Have fun with that. So basically, again, steal your opponent's creatures with your commander, get your commander back in your hand, discard it with this, do it again, do it again, do it again, and all of a sudden, yeah, I just stole those creatures. All these creatures are in the graveyards. Let's just steal them all again. So basically, you just said, I'm going to Insurrection a bunch of times, and also Rise of the Dark Realms, you're going to win the game. And then finally, Skullmead Cauldron, tap, you gain 1 life, or tap, discard a card, you gain 3 life. Life gain, yay, super powerful, right? Not really, but again, what we care about is a free discard outlet. Absolutely lovely for that. And yeah, we can pad our life total a little bit. That's nice too. But now to on to tactic number 7, Double Trouble, because you know what's really nice? Yeah, 1-shot KO with our commander. Yeah, have fun. Inquisitor's Flail, artifact equipment, equip creature to deal combat damage, it deals double that damage instead. Same thing, actually, if it gets dealt damage in combat from other creatures. So what we care about, though, is that, again, our commander is evasive, typically get through at least 1 opponent. We also have other ways to make it even more evasive. Get it through with now just 1 shot, and that player is gone. Basically, kind of like Double Strike. Speaking of Double Strike, Fire Shrieker, actual Double Strike. So I guess technically if you put this plus Inquisitor's Flail, that's like 48 damage. So, yeah, I mean, that's overkill, but still, nice. Double Strike is great with this commander, again, because it becomes a 1-shot KO on anyone. And again, they will have no blockers because you're just going to take all their creatures. Brass Knuckles, when you cast a spell, copy it. Quick creature has Double Strike as long as 2 more equipment attached to it. So yeah, just get more equipment attached to it, or just attach both of these to it, and there you go. Grappling Hook, yet another one. Double Strike, whenever creature attacks, you may have target creature block at this turn of Fable, so forcing blocks can be great as well. But yeah, you really care about that Double Strike aspect, so you can take out opponents in one hit, if I could talk. Moving on, though, we are going to dig deep into our deck to get to our best cards, and we can help ourselves up with a card like Culling Deus. Artifact for 2, tap, sacrifice creature, get a charge counter on it. Pay 1, sacrifice, draw a card for each charge counter on it. This can actually be very helpful, somewhat defensively. You know, if you steal an opponent's creatures and they're like, I've got ways to get them back, ha ha ha, like Homeward Path or those kinds of cards, or even just like someone bouncing creatures, you can just in response sacrifice one of those creatures, be like, you don't get it back, ha ha ha. Or if some opponent's creatures have death triggers, or just sacrificing your own Emrakul to be like, yeah, I'd like to reset that, sure, I'll pay the 14 mana of my command zone. That's fine. And also, I should say, hey, pay 1, sacrifice a draw a card for each charge counter on it. There you go. Moving on, I have Vecna, ETB, draw a card, lose 2. Beginning of your upkeep, you may do the exact same thing. Pay 2, draw a card, lose 2. A great repeatable source of card advantage for us. Moving on, Hilda's Crown of Winter. Pay 1, tap our creature. Cost 1 to activate your turn. This can be a huge thing just because, again, opponents probably don't have a lot of flyers out there, creatures with reach. They maybe only have 1, and they're like, at least I can block the Emrakul. And you're like, nope, can't block the Emrakul coming through at you. And also, if an opponent swings out somewhere, you can say, okay, cool, pay 3, sacrifice this, draw a card for each tap creature opponent's control. Draw a ton of cards with this. Pen of Prosperity. Make a friend with this. Hey, buddy. Hey, Emrakul player. Hey, okay, here's what's going to happen, all right? I'm going to give you this pendant. No, yeah, I'm going to give you the pendant, and you're going to activate it. Because if you don't, I'm going to swing at you with Emrakul. Okay, I guess I will. Okay, yeah, friendship, right? Anyways, enters the battlefield under control of an opponent of your choice. Pay 2, tap, draw a card, put a land card from your hand on the battlefield. Then Pen of Prosperity's owner does the exact same thing. That's going to be us. So basically, they do all the payment. We get all the benefit. They get benefits too, right? We say, we won't take you out to the end, right? Just us two together. And they're like, yeah, best buds. Okay, anyways. Next up, Slate of Ancestry. Again, with all these creatures that you're stealing because you're making so many friends, pay 4, tap, discard your hand, draw a card for each creature you control. Lovely. Again, what's worse for your opponents than seeing you with all their creatures and then you gaining benefits off of all their creatures? Be like, oh, okay, cool. I just stole 10 creatures plus my Emrakul, it's 11. I'll draw 11 for 4 mana. Lovely. Tower of Fortunes. Again, when it comes to mana, we've got all of it because we have so much ramp. Pay 8, tap, draw 4 cards of Tower of Fortunes. Yeah, we can afford that. So again, to save up mana, utilize it when you need to, replace near your hand. Next up, Endbringer. Kind of actually the exact same thing in a weird way. I didn't even think about that. 5 Eldrazi for 6 mana. And untaps during each of the players' untap step. You can tap for 1 damage any target. You can pay a colorless and tap, and target creature can attack or block this turn, so that can be great to get Emrakul through, or prevent yourself from being attacked from something. Or pay colorless, tap, draw a card. So again, technically, if you paid that each turn, that would just be Tower of Fortunes, right? Just kind of delayed. Moving on, Lore Seeker's Stone. Pay 3, tap, draw 3 cards. Cost 1 more to activate for each card in your hand. Mana is not a problem. And again, if we have no cards in our hand, congratulations. 3 mana for 3 cards. That's incredible. Staff of Nin. We don't have to pay at all. 6 mana to get in play. Actually, you have to pay for that. Game of upkeep, draw a card. A gate repeatable, draw effect. Tap 1 damage to target creature or player. And finally, Sandstone Oracle. Again, that blue player over there, they're just so lucky. They've got like their I have no maximum hand size card. And they've got like all these cards in their hand. And we're like, we don't really have much. But we've got this Sandstone Oracle. And I'm going to play it, and I'm going to have it enter the battlefield, choose you, and then I'm going to draw cards equal to the difference of cards in our hand. So I'll draw 14, whatever it is, 7. Even if just 7, that's amazing. Even if just like 4, that's amazing. Keep in mind, again, with an ETB like this one, you can use and abuse it because you got so many ways to bring it back to your hand thanks to your Emrakul deck. Next up, though, speaking of getting rid of things, tactic number 9, away with you. I mean, I guess with bouncing, it's like getting rid of them coming back. But with Oblivion Stone, it's like, no, just goodbye. Pay 4, tap, put a fate counter on target permanent. Pay 5, tap, sacrifice it, destroy each non-land permanent without a fate counter on it. Then remove all fate counters from all permanents. Yeah, again, we've got mana. So if we wanted to start utilizing that to just put fate counters on things and save that up to just destroy everything we need to, do so. Or if you need a panic button to destroy things right away, you can do that too. But we got Introduction to Annihilation. A lesson for 5 mana. Exile another permanent's controller draws a card. That's going to be worth it again. If the permanent is threatening enough, get rid of it. Next up, Calamity of the Titans. This one's hilarious with this commander. Additional cost, cast a spell, reveal a colorless creature card from your hand. Emrakul, because we're going to bounce it back to our hand. Exile each creature and planeswalker with mana value less than the real card's mana value. It's all ours. Thank you. Goodbye. So yeah, basically, if you have a giant panic button where you're like, okay, like, all 3 of these players have massive armies, and I can't deal with it in this way. Or, again, like, if there are certain creatures that are super large and you want to steal those, cool. Reveal another colorless creature from your hand that is slightly smaller. Take out the small creatures, and then use Emrakul to steal the big ones. It's a very flexible, very good card. Meteor Golem, 7 mana, enters the battlefield to destroy target non-land permanent opponent controls. Again, we can actually bounce this back to our hand and get its value again. And then finally, Scout from Existence, exile target permanent. Yes, we will do that. We will get rid of that for 7 mana because, hey, you know what? We're in colorless and we've got the mana. But now that we've talked about every single non-land card in this deck, let's quickly talk about the lands. First up, Gaia Reach Sanitarium. Actually, let me just say really quick. You're in a colorless deck, you can utilize like all of the utility lands because, hey, they tap for colorless. Great. Anyways, Gaia Reach Sanitarium taps for a colorless, pay 2, tap, each player loots. So again, another way to utilize Emrakul out of our hand for that madness. Rogue's Passage, fantastic. Pay 4, tap. Unblockable Emrakul. Goodbye, opponent. And then finally, Valderan Estate. This one we can tap for a colorless. We can do vampire things, which we don't care about. We can also pay 5, tap, and create a blood token. It's not going to get reduced. That costs 1 because we don't have vampires. I guess unless you're playing against Vampire Tribal, then that does matter because we will steal the vampires and then this costs less. Good for us. Synergy. Regardless, what we care about is that blood token because, again, that is an effect that we can discard a card, sacrifice the artifact to draw a card, basically a rummaging effect. And with that, again, discard Emrakul for that madness cost. Now, as this episode is coming to a close, though, it's time for me to hear from you in the comments below. So let me know what your thoughts are on this build. If you are interested in this deck, make sure you check out that deck list link in the description below. And of course, as always, thanks again and have a good one. This show and episodes like this one are possible thanks to viewers like you. If you're looking for an easy way to help support this show, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Also, hit that bell notification icon so you don't miss any new episodes. You can also go check out our playmats and other merchandise at thecommandersquarters.com. We also have a ton of brand new t-shirt designs in stock, so make sure you check out those as well. Another easy way to support this show is with our TCG player affiliate links. So whether you're buying a deck or individual cards, you can use this general link right here or one in the description. And the final way that you can support this show is by supporting us directly by becoming a patron. There are many benefits to being a patron, and I truly couldn't do this without all of their support.